Hi guys, it's Neil here from neilcurtis.me, and this is another views tutorial. So we're looking at the views plugin, which is made by On The Go Systems, and basically I use combined types and views plugins. First of all, I create custom post types using the types plugin, and then I'm using the views plugin to display these custom post types in this gallery form here on my website. So this is a page I've recently created to display my Gravity Forms tutorials, which is another plugin that's used to put forms on your website. And I have several different tutorials, and they're here displayed in this nice gallery grid format. And like I said, I created this using the Views plugin by On The Go Systems. And here we have the post or the custom post title, and then an image from the post, and if you hover over the image it shows you the title as well. And if you click on here, it takes you through to the tutorial that we're talking about. So here now in this tutorial we're going to use the views plugin. We're going to create this gallery layout for your custom posts. I'm going to go over to a website of mine called turbobiketrainer.com, and I'm going to use this website to recreate this layout from scratch. And the reason I'm doing this is because on this particular website I've got lots of different posts, and each of these has a different turbo trainer with a nice image on it. And actually I'll show you this. So this website turbobiketrainer.com that I've actually used as a case study on neilcurtis.me, showing you how I build it up. So if you want to recreate a similar website to this, I have tutorials about it. But you say I have a list here of different turbo trainers, so these are all different custom posts. So if I click on it, I've got the custom post for this particular turbo trainer where I've got an image, a bit of data about it, then I've got a price comparison, affiliate and price comparison, and I have tutorials about this, so have a look at my video tutorials. Then I have descriptions. So this is a custom post type for turbo trainers, so I have lots and lots of these. So now we're going to display these in a different way using a view. We're going to display it as a gallery. Okay, so I have a page, and I've called this page Gallery of Turbo Trainers, and here we're going to insert our view, and this will display our turbo trainers in a nice grid. So because I have the views plugin installed, and there's a link here if you want to go and read more about the types and views plugins, but I have it installed, and it's just a plugin that you install. So I have this tab here, and what I want to do is I want to go views, and I've got many views in this website because I use it to display different things, but I want to create a brand new one for this example. And then I want to say I'm going to display all results, and you give it a title. So I'm going to say Turbo Trainer Gallery. Let's click create. And now we come to our page that we're going to use, and it's got these little info boxes, but I'm going to tell you everything, so I'm just going to shut that. So first off, it says what content do we want to show. So we want to show turbo trainers, which is our custom post type. And I do have a video showing you exactly how I created these custom post types, and again there's a link to it here if you want to follow that. Going to leave these by default. I'm going to say order them by post date, no limit, and for now we're not going to have any filters, but I may modify this later. Here's another info box, and I'm going to shut that. So now after all that initial setup, we come to the styling. This is where the magic happens. So we have a HTML area, then we also have a CSS area that you need to click here to open. So there's nothing in here to start with, and we're just going to go into Layout Wizard because that's the easiest way to get started. And here we've got different options. We're just actually going to choose unformatted because we're going to format it completely from scratch. And click next. And it says choose the fields that we want to show. So if I go back to my Neil Curtis website, you see we're showing the post title, then also an image from the post. So we only want those two fields. So go back into this example, and I'll say add field. And we get this drop down, I want to show the title. We can either just show the title, or we can have a title with a link. So if you click it links, we'll do that. So click title with link. We're going to add another field. And then here, I go right down to my Turbo Trainer parameters. And again, I show you how I created all these in a past tutorial. But we want an image. So we've got 3 images here. We'll say show image number 1, because every single Turbo Trainer that we have has at least image number 1. Sometimes they don't have these extra 2 images, but we always have number 1. So we'll show the image. So now we click next, and then got the option, where do you want to insert this? Current position or replace existing layout. We want to replace the existing layout. So completely replace it. And this is a code here. So this is saying, this is a short code to show the post title with a link. And this is a short code to show image number 1. And all this is just sort of standard code that's in there that basically says, if there's no custom posts to show, put this text in. But it's never going to show that for us because we're always going to have custom posts. And in fact, we can remove all of this because we don't need it. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this. So I'm just going to click update. And now I'm going to go back to my page, which I shut now. So I'm going to right click pages and say open in new tab. And then I'll just go to the page, the new page that we've created. And now we want to insert this view that we've just made. So we click on the V here, which again shows up when you have the views plugin installed. And now I will go down to my views, and you see I have many views all across this website, but the new one we've just created now is this Turbo Trainer gallery. So select that, puts the shortcode in there for that view, so we'll update the page. And I'll go ahead and have a look at it. So you see it's actually showing every single post we've ever done and all the images. And the reason it's doing that is, if you go back to our setup, we needed to click update here at the start. You know, when we selected we want to show Turbo Trainers, it's actually showing all of these things now, but we need to update each of the sections we do. So I'm going to click update here, and then that's it, because there's no more updates to do. So I'm just going to refresh my page now, and you'll see it's got rid of all that stuff at the top, and now it's just showing the title and then the image, title and the image of each of these custom posts, but it's not laid out very nicely. And just in the top one, I'll click the title and it goes through to the post like we want it to, but this layout isn't great. And also we don't want this sidebar on the side. So I'm going to edit this page, and I'm going to say show a full width page. And this is using the Genesis framework and a Genesis theme. So we have these layout options at the end. I'm going to update this, view our page again. Right, so now we have full width, and this is a gallery of Turbo Trainers. That's the title of it, and there we go. We've got all of our Turbo Trainers. We've got hundreds of them, but of course they're not laid out very well. So now we have to go styling it. So we go back to our view. So what I want to do first is I'm going to put a holder div around these, just so we can set a width for each of the different custom posts that we're going to show in this view. So I'll put in some code of div ID equals to specify a div, then we'll give it a name of holder, and then we'll close that. And this wants to go all the way around this content, so we put our closing div at the end there. Okay, and the great thing about views is we've got a CSS window here, so we don't need to go into our style.css style sheet for our theme to do it. We can just do it straight here. So put hash holder to reference that div. We put open and close curly brackets, and And now we put in our styling. So I want to float this div left because we want two divs floating side by side. So I'll say float left. And then we're going to set a max width. So in our example here, these have actually got a set max width of 350 pixels. So we'll use the same now, but we may modify this because the page size may be different. So I'm going to put max width 350 pixels. And we need a gap between them. So you see there's a slight gap between these divs. So we'll say margin right. So we put a margin right of, we'll say 20 pixels. And again, all of these I'm putting them in, but you can go and modify them later. It's just getting our first stab at it. So we just updated that, and now all we need to do is refresh this page. And there you go, things look much better already. Not perfect, but you'll see we've got two side by side. And the reason there's only two is because there's not enough room here for another one, so it automatically stacks below. And I'll just show you, we can make it 3 by 3. And in fact, we'll do that just to make it a bit different. So we're not recreating 2 by 2, we'll create 3 by 3. So I'll change this max width to, let's try 300 pixels. And there we go, now we've got 3 images in a row. But you see it's not perfect, we're getting this funny extra ones that aren't quite right. So we need to do some more styling just to counteract that. What we'll do now is we'll start formatting the other areas. So first off, I'm going to format the title. So we go back up to our HTML box and I'll create a new div. And we'll call this one title. And then while we're here, I'll create another div. So there, I put the closing of the title div just around the title link. And we'll create a new div. And then call it image. And put this around the image. So I'll put our closing div here. So we go down to our CSS. We go hash to reference the title. And put our open and close curly brackets ready for some code. Put hash image and the brackets ready for our code. Okay, so now with the title, you see when it goes over 2 lines, we've got quite a big gap here. But in our example, it's tighter together. We can look at that with a line height. So if we go line height of say 20 pixels and see how that looks. You see that's nicer, it's tightened these up, so we'll leave it as that. Happy with that. And another thing we want to do is have a look at the images. We want the image to fill this full width, which it looks like it's doing in most cases, but it may not in all cases. So what we can do is we can go into the image and I can put width 100%. So that's saying we want the width of the images to be exactly the full width of the holder they're in. So I'll update that. That hasn't changed anything, so most of them probably were that width anyway. But you see here that this image should really go here, but it's not. And the reason for that is the height of these images is slightly different. So this one's, the height of this holder is greater than the height of this holder because this title is over 2 lines. And if I drag this up, you'll see it here. So you can see this black box shows where the bottom of the image is, and this black box bottom of the image is here. So it's actually stacking up against the corner of this image here rather than going under it. So we need them all to be the same height. We can do that by specifying a height onto the div just so each div has the same height, so all of the images stack perfectly under each other. So we'll try and do that. We'll say try 200 pixels to start, so put height 200 pixels in the holder. And actually that's too small, so they're overlapping each other, but you see they are stacking nicely now. So we'll increase that to 250. And it's getting there, but still not good enough. So we'll say 300 pixels, the height of each of these holder sections. You see that's much nicer now. They're all stacking nicely under each other. Although this image here is very large, so it's been overlapped because the height is too small for this image. And one thing you could do to avoid this is make every single image that you put on your site the same dimensions, and you won't have any problems. But in this case, we will just increase the height some more. So 400, they're spaced out nicely, and all images look good. So you see, they've all got the same widths, but because some of the images I used in these custom posts are different heights or different dimensions, that it's being cut off. So I could have made my life much easier by making sure they were all the same size to start with, these images, but never mind. You'll see now that the title is pretty close to this image, and we probably want a bit of spacing there. So I'm going to put a margin bottom on my title. We'll say 10 pixels. Don't want a huge gap. There you go, it's pushed a bit of a gap there now. If you go back up, everything looks nice. So what can we do with the images? So if we go to a gallery, see these have all actually got a border on the outside of them, and also this drop shadow around them. So we can recreate that now with our image. So we'll put a light grey border around them. So we just go border in our image div. We want it to be a solid line, just 1 pixel width, and then the code for a light grey is E0, E0, E0. So now this should put a border around all of the images. It has. You'll see that when the title goes over 2 lines, it's pushing the image further down compared to the 1 line, and that doesn't look great because it makes it sort of stepped. So we can add a height to this title area just so each of them is the same height, whether it's 1 line or 2 lines. So that means it'll push the image down to the right height in each case. So we go back here, then we put a height into our title area. Just type height, and then we'll say 20 pixels. This may not be right, but we can come back and change it if it's not. So you see they're all the same height now, but of course it's overridden that, so we need to push it a bit further. Change it to 30 pixels, and each time I have to update. So there we go. So that is tight there, but the spacing is much nicer, and I'm happy with that. Actually, I'll give it 5 more pixels just to push it away. There we go, so it's quite neat now. Okay, so now we'll add this bit of drop shadow around the images. So go into our image div, and then it's called box shadow, and then we have where we want the shadow to be. So we want it to be 5 pixels to the right, and then 5 pixels down, and then we'll set the blur to 15 pixels. And then we have the color, and CCC is a grey. So if you refresh this page, we now have the drop shadow around the image. And we have a gallery layout. So you'll notice that this is aligned to the left edge of our page, and there's a bit of a gap here on the right edge because it's not centrally aligned on a page. And if you want to do that, you can go in and create a fresh div around our page. So we don't actually do it in this view, we do it here in this page. So I'll edit my page, and I'll create a div around this gallery view that we've just put in, and I'll give it a div ID of central alignment. Okay, now just copy that name. So we update our page, and we'll view it in a new tab. Nothing's changed because obviously we haven't done anything to the div yet. But if we go into our appearance in an editor, we do actually need to add some code to a style.css style sheet this time. So here it is. If you go into editor, it normally opens it up, and if it doesn't, you'll find it on this column here. So let's go right down to the bottom, and I've got loads of custom styling from other things, but I'll just create a new div, styling. So we've got hash, and then that's the name of our div just created. I'm going to close curly brackets. So what I'll do is I'll just give it a quick border, and I'll give it a border top just to draw a line just to show you where this width of this div is. So let's give it a border top of 1 pixel in a grey colour. And then you'll see when I refresh the page, that's the line we've put in. So you see it's a full width, and this is formatted to the left hand side of the page. So what we'll do is we'll make this div smaller just to this edge, but then we'll float the div centrally on the page, so these will all budge across. So we'll say width 90%, so it's not full 100% of the page. So now you see this line comes to here, so it's only 90% of the page. So this div actually covers this whole grid. So now we'll float this whole div centrally, so this grid will appear central on the page. And we do that by adding this bit of code here, margin 0 auto. And this is a little trick that allows you to centrally align divs on a page. So there you go, you see now that's bumped across centrally in the middle of the page. So we'll get rid of this border top because we don't want that anymore. And refresh the page. So there we go, we have a nice gallery of all of our custom posts, and we've got lots and lots of them. And here the title currently links through to the individual custom posts, but the image doesn't do anything. In fact, if you hover over it, it doesn't tell you what it is, and then it doesn't link. So that's what we'll do now. So we go back to our view, we go back to our HTML. Okay, so it's here in this image shortcode is where we need to put in some extra info to show the title of the image when you hover over it, and also you put in some alt tags, which is good for SEO and also user experience, because if the image doesn't show up, it will show this alternative text, and also it helps search engines know what the image is about. So for now it goes in here, so we've got our types field and it's got what it is, Then before this square bracket here, I'll just space it out. This is where we put in our info. So we want alt for the alt tags. Then we'll say for now alt tag just so it shows up, and then title, and we'd say title here just to see if it works. Okay, I'll just close that up again. Let's close that up again. We'll update this. So now when I hover over the image, it says title here for all of them, which isn't great, but at least it's showing something. But what we can do to show the actual title, so instead of saying title here, we want to show the actual post title. So make sure the cursor is in between the quote marks or speech marks. You select fields, and we say we wanted to show the title, so we input the title shortcode there. And actually I'll copy that as well for this alt tag. We'll update this and refresh. Now when we hover over it, you see it says the title of the post, and it says the right one for each individual post image you are on, which is great. But again, if you click these, nothing happens. So now we need to make them link through when you click. Again, we go up and it's fairly easy to do. So what we need to do is again find our image, start of our image shortcode, and we need to put in the link text. So what it is ahref equals, and then we need to put in a field, and we need to say you can put the URL. So we want it to link to the URL of the post when you click on it. So we click that, let's put in that shortcode, and we close that, and we go right to the end of our input field for this image, which is down here, and then we put in our closing link A, and we'll update that, and then refresh our page, and now you see we get the hand showing when we're over it, which shows that this is going to link through to a post when we click it, which it does. So there we go. That's just showing you a quick way of making a gallery view of your custom posts using the Views plugin. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment below this YouTube video or on the post at www.neilcurtis.me, and I'll try my best to answer these. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It would be a great way for me to tell you about new videos and tutorials as soon as they happen. And also head over to my website at www.neilcurtis.me, where you can find more guides and tutorials about WordPress and styling WordPress websites.